Today we're going to go over installation of the APES automated paper ejector and stacker and the PAL or pick a lift onto an HD7700. Let's review some of the parts that we're going to be using. The two basic parts on the APES unit would be first what you're looking at right now, which is the stacker portion of the unit. And if we pan over in this direction, you'll see the ejector portion of the unit. Some of the ancillary items that's used to hook up the unit, you'll find back gauges, paper stops, some nuts and bolts, obviously a power cord. We've got some side brackets to hook it onto the machine. We also have back here, we have some of the paper guides and related screws that go with that. The first step in the process is to remove the two top bolts off your 7700 on both sides of the machine. Your automated paper ejector and stacker comes with a bracket that will attach onto the side of the machine. So simply take your bracket, install it with the screws that are provided back into the holes where you've removed the screws from the out of the existing machine. You're going to do that on both sides of the unit. Our next step in installing the automated paper ejector and stacker to our 7000 or 7700 is to take your ejector portion. You're going to sit that on top of the machine. You'll get a bunch of these different screw knobs that'll come with the machine, and in the bracket portion you'll see an area where you can mount this down on top of that bracket that you've just installed on the machine. Next, we're going to take the stacker portion and add that onto the machine. You'll notice there's a bracket here that comes off the stacker and actually lines up with two adjacent holes that are on the ejector portion. There's two special posts that line the unit up together, so that makes an alignment feature between where the ejector and the stacker come together. Back on the stacker, we can now add on our guides that will adjust to guide the paper into the ejector. You'll just take your little brass screws, tie those into these holes that are on top of the machine, and put your guides in place. You have a front guide that's a little bit taller and a back guide that's a little bit shorter. You'll notice on your adjustment guides there's a adjustment knob here where you can adjust your stop for your margin setting on your paper stop. Back to your paper stacker, you'll notice two screws on the inside of the paper stacker. Loosen those screws, and your front table opens and closes to adjust for different paper sizes. That's important to make sure that you maintain collation and you don't have a lot of paper jogging to do when you're done. The last thing we need to add to the unit now in terms of mechanical device is we need to add our back paper stop. So you'll find additional hand screw tightening knobs that fit onto the unit. Just tie those in place, and then additionally you'll find a paper stop that sits onto the front of this panel. Simply mount that in place, and that is your stop, your paper stop, so that when the paper ejects it stops from shooting off the side, and you can adjust that to different sizes. So you'll notice here there's for 14-inch paper, 13-inch paper, A4, 11-inch, 8.5, 5.5. So that adjustment moves back and forth for whatever paper size that you're doing.